President signed the Hemp Farmers Act for their hemp program. It also allows for a hemp research license and interstate commerce. Interstate commerce is a big one. Think of America. Where's the best place in America to grow hemp? I can tell you, California is one place for sure.
Dismayed and shocked.
Human waste problems in San Francisco reaching a disturbing new height.
It is absolutely disgusting.
Pictures show a man relieving himself inside a Safeway.
Power is back on in the Bay Area after PG&E planned a public safety power shutdown that left 738,000 customers in the dark due to high winds in the forecast. It has been an unfavorable week for PG&E. While customers in the North Bay are used to these planned shutoffs, cities in the East and South Bay were not. PG&E only giving about a day for hundreds and thousands of households to prepare for living without power for days. From website crashes to...
Of course, the situation to our north in Sonoma County, the Kincaid fire, which erupted over the weekend, now grown to more than 66,000 acres in size, and the containment, sad to say, is actually dropped.
This woman's notoriety from the Netflix show Jailbirds landed her back behind bars. Megan Monster Hawkins was featured on the show, which chronicled her life inside Sacramento County Jail. Elk Grove police say on Friday she tried to open a checking and a savings account at a bank on Bruceville Road using someone else's ID.
Good morning, Becky. And the specs are those that have some analysts saying, look, there's a lot of potential here, but there are still a lot of questions about actually how this vehicle would perform if you had a full payload, if you had a towing capacity, what's the range going to be? When they unveiled this truck last night, I can't be the only person who saw it come on stage and say, wow, that is way outside the box of what people were predicting. They are offering 3 versions of the Cybertruck. The range, depending on whether you have dual motor or the tri-motor, it ranges from 250 miles fully charged up to 500 miles fully charged. Here's Elon Musk on what they were thinking as they designed the Cybertruck.
Firefighters called in to rescue Rocklin middle school student with arm stuck in desk. Rocklin firefighters had an unusual rescue call on Friday. A Springview middle school student whose arm was stuck in a hole in his desk. The incident, around 2 p.m., was documented in a Facebook post by the Rocklin firefighters Local 3847. Fire personnel first tried to use soap and oil to extract the student's arm, but that was unsuccessful. Firefighters ultimately had to cut out a section of the desk in order to release pressure on the student's elbow so the arm could slide out. The student was uninjured and was unable to return to class. Springview Middle School, in a comment on the Facebook post, wrote, "Thanks again, Rocklin firefighters." Homeless Union reaches tentative settlement with Marysville and Yuba County. County agree to pay $330,000 to the ones who had camps cleared off. A federal class action lawsuit filed by a local homeless union in 2018 against the city of Marysville, Yuba County, and others that were involved in clearing out homeless encampments and disposing of personal belongings between 2016 and 2017 reached a tentative settlement on Monday. The case, which was filed in the U.S. District Court in Sacramento in October 2018, sought monetary damages as well as an injunction against the city and county from enforcing a no-camping ordinance, as well as an injunction commanding both entities to declare a shelter crisis. As part of the settlement, the city and county tentatively agreed to pay a total of $330,000 in compensation for those impacted by the clearing of homeless encampments. Anthony Price, one of the attorneys representing the Marysville Homeless Union in the case, said the tentative agreement must first be approved by the respective agencies and decision-making bodies in Yuba County and Marysville, as well as some of the plaintiffs in the case that weren't present in court before it becomes official. When that happens, assuming all the parties sign off, we will have a settlement that calls for substantial financial compensation to those who had property taken from them and destroyed during that roughly 1-year period, Prince said. We feel that this is an important development and that Yuba County and Marysville needed to be held accountable for when they go into these encampments, break them up, and take personal belongings. Going forward, the Homeless Union will continue to fight for the homeless and for accountability. The complaint filed by the plaintiffs alleged that their civil rights were violated in 2016 when hundreds of homeless people were removed from a number of encampments located throughout the city and county, and their property was seized or destroyed with little or no effective notice. Some of the biggest homeless encampments that were cleared out in the operation included Hollywood Trailer Park, the Horseshoe area, and the Thorn Tree encampment. Officials at the time said the cleanup stemmed from health, safety, and environmental concerns. 13 plaintiffs were named in the lawsuit, though the class action covered many other homeless individuals that were impacted by the clearing out of the encampments. Defendants named in the case including the city, county, elected officials, and staff members at the time, as well as several other organizations or businesses that were reportedly involved. Marysville Police Chief Christian Sachs, who was also named in the case as a defendant and was acting as city manager this week, said he was not aware of the terms of the settlement and therefore couldn't comment. Yuba County Counsel Michael Shikotsi said there has yet to be a final settlement on the matter. He said there have been discussions regarding the potential terms of the settlement that would resolve the litigation. Until such time as the federal government approves any settlement, which could take several months, nothing is final. Prince, who also serves as general counsel for the California Homeless Union, said the tentative settlement only resolved the compensatory aspect of the case and didn't address the injunctive relief requests regarding the camping ordinances. He said the agreement doesn't tie their hands to pursue injunctive relief moving forward. Chikotsi said that neither the subject litigation nor any discussion of the terms of a potential settlement in any way affects the county's recently enacted camping and storage of personal property ordinance. He said, when and if a final settlement is reached, we will comment further on that settlement. Plaintiffs in the case and member of the Marysville Homeless Union said the group is happy with the tentative settlement. She said the money will have a significant impact on a large group of homeless individuals that are expected to be compensated for their loss of belongings. Note from the reader, you guys need to edit your paper. Okay, sorry. It's a win for homeless people in Yuba County, Butcher said. I've talked to a few homeless people already, and they're very excited and very ready to move forward. Brian Brown, another plaintiff in the case and member of the union, said no matter how the compensation is divvied up among the hundreds of homeless individuals that will likely file claims for the funds, it's going to have a positive effect in the community. Brown said this is a precedent that they cannot violate the law without consequences, so we view it as an injunctive order in itself. This will help keep them honest. If the settlement is approved, how it is currently structured, members of the homeless population that had ties to the encampments during that year-long period would have an opportunity to file claims seeking compensation. Butcher said there were a few people that are on the claim that don't even want anything. They just want them to stop doing what they're doing and to talk with us and not without us. Maybe if they involved us in the discussions, they'd get a better understanding of what's going on and that we aren't looking for handouts. We want real help. Most people just want to go home. So I'm hoping this little bit of money will help get them home. Local student strives to help homeless population. Daisha Trujillo, a Wheatland Union high school student and freshman, has always had a passion for helping people. When she was younger, she participated in a food drive and did some other projects to help foster youth. Recently, Trujillo started a nonprofit in an effort to make a difference in the lives of homeless students in the Yuba Sutter area. Trujillo said, one of my friends at school, every time she would come to school, she was missing something. Like she would say, I don't have deodorant, and I don't have a toothbrush or toothpaste. I couldn't brush my hair because I didn't have a comb today. So I just wanted to help her. Her project consists of putting together hygiene kits with things like a comb, toothbrush, and toothpaste, shampoo and conditioner, and more. Trujillo said the students that don't have those things, it would just be nice for them to have it. Erica Trujillo, Daisha's mother, said she used to work in downtown Sacramento when Daisha was younger, and they would often pass homeless people on the street. Erica said there was a time where she said, now I'm seeing kids. We did a food drive when she was 5, and she did some other projects as well as in helping foster youth, and finally she said she wanted to be more impactful. She said Daisha created a website with some help, and now she's learning from the whole process. Erica says, I'm really proud of her. It's a proud moment for a parent to see your child at this age doing something great. Daisha Trujillo said, so far the kits are in Plumas Lake, Wheatland, and Marysville schools, but she hopes to spread the project to more schools in the area, as well as partner with more people to continue providing the hygiene products. She said they partnered with organizations such as Perfectly Posh and Clean the World, but they also got bags to put the items in from the Sacramento Kings. They've also received some cash donations to purchase products. Daisha Trujillo said one of her favorite experiences since starting the project was when her basketball team came together and helped assemble hygiene kits in December. She said they were so happy about it, and they were happy that I was doing this project, so I was glad they were open to helping me. After basketball practice, everyone came into the foyer, and we had everything set up, and we just sat down and started putting the kits together. She also has some friends who want to get involved, such as Marissa Kamehameha and Courtney Van Nuyen, and help check in with the schools to see if they need more hygiene kits. Daisha is providing them with something they don't have, and making it a priority is super special. She's taken an initiative at such a young age to make the world a better place, says Nicole Newman, superintendent of Wheatland Union High School. Newman said people can drop off hygiene product donations at the Wheatland Union High School District main office. Erica Trujillo said they're working on setting up a second drop-off location. People can also donate or get more information by visiting trukidztruekids.org. Authorities identify woman killed in February 2nd hit and run in South Sacramento. The Sacramento County Coroner's Office has identified the bicyclist killed in a February 2nd hit and run in the Meadowview area. Her name is Jeremica Colbert, 38. Colbert was cycling near 24th Street and Florin Road when she was struck by a small white or silver sedan shortly before 10:30 p.m. The driver fled the scene of the collision and police are investigating. Anyone with information regarding the hit and run is asked to call the Sacramento Police Department dispatch at 916-264-5471 or call the Sacramento Valley Crime Stoppers at 916-443-4357. Tips can also be submitted confidentially through the P3 Tips website and app. There is a reward of up to $1,000. Expect more blackouts in California, PG&E says, but utility predicts smaller, shorter shutoffs. Make no mistake, PG&E Corporation will plunge Californians into darkness again this year if it thinks that will prevent another major wildfire. But the utility said Friday it's investing millions in personnel and technology to lessen the impacts of its public safety power shutoffs and believes the 2020 blackouts won't darken nearly as many homes as last year. PG&E, which has 16 million customers around the state, filed an updated wildfire safety blueprint with the Public Utilities Commission, outlining plans for hardening its electric grid, improving its weather forecasting, and trimming back more limbs that could spark fires. Above all, PG&E expects it can make its deliberate blackouts, engineered when windstorms kick up and wildfire risk is high, less burdensome than last October when outages affected millions of Northern Californians, infuriated Governor Gavin Newsom, and still failed to prevent a major wildfire in Sonoma County. This year's blackouts should be smarter, smaller, and shorter, said Matt Pender, a director of the utility's wildfire safety program. There's been a lot of learning at PG&E from the last wildfire season. Pender said the footprint of this year's blackouts should be about one-third smaller than last year's for a windstorm of similar size, thanks to sectionalizing switches that will allow PG&E to cut up the grid. PG&E will double the number of switches it had last year. PG&E released its new safety plan at a crucial moment when in the company's history. Newsom, still seething over PG&E's troubled safety history and last fall's blackout drama, so far has refused to give his blessing to PG&E's bankruptcy reorganization plan. The utility filed a new bankruptcy plan a week ago, promising a leadership shakeup and greater emphasis on safety in an effort to win over the governor. PG&E must exit bankruptcy by June 30th in order to qualify for a $21 billion insurance fund designed to cushion utilities against liabilities from future wildfires. Power shutoffs remain a delicate balancing act for all California utilities, but none more than PG&E, which was driven into bankruptcy by the 2017 Wine Country fires and 2018's Camp Fire. In post-mortem reports filed with the state, PG&E said its crews found hundreds of examples of trees that had crashed into power lines during last year's blackouts. At the same time, the blackouts last fall created little sympathy for the company and sparked complaints that PG&E was endangering public safety by cutting power to the elderly and people dependent on respirators and other electric devices. Pender said, "Our goal is to achieve the correct target of ensuring safety without creating risks in either direction." Pender said PG&E plans to spend $2 billion this year on wildfire safety, although it will be up to California PUC to decide how much gets billed to ratepayers. Among other things, PG&E will double the size of its helicopter fleet to 65 so it can inspect the grid for wind damage and get the power turned back on very quickly after windstorm ends. It will also deploy 2 airplanes with infrared technology to do nighttime inspections. Pender said PG&E expects to restore power within 12 daylight hours, or half as much time as last year. The release of the 2020 wildfire plan came hours after PG&E named a chief safety officer, fulfilling one of the promises it made as it tries to convince state officials of its commitment to preventing wildfires. The officer, Francisco Benavides, has been in charge of safety at aluminum maker Alcoa Corp. PG&E imposed 4 separate power outages during major windstorms last October. The 3-day blackout that began October 9th was completely mishandled by PG&E's admission. Its website crashed and its call center was overwhelmed with customer inquiries. The company apologized for the snafus and eventually agreed, under pressure from Newsom, to grant $90 million in one-time bill credits to the hundreds of thousands of customers who'd been blacked out. The credits amounted to $122 per household. A pair of back-to-back power outages in late October created an even bigger nightmare for the utility. Despite blacking out much of the wine country, the utility decided not to shut off a high-voltage transmission line running through Sonoma County. The transmission tower near Geyserville malfunctioned and apparently ignited the Kincaid fire. The fire destroyed or damaged 434 homes and other buildings, chewed through 77,000 acres, and prompted the evacuation of more than 190,000 people. CAL FIRE continues to investigate the cause. PG&E has been reluctant to shut down its transmission lines, which carry power in bulk to broad territories, in part because the lines are higher off the ground and considered less likely to start fires than the local distribution wires. After the Kincaid fire, the company said it would reevaluate that approach, and Pender said PG&E will make the call on transmission lines on a case-by-case basis. "There's no blanket policy," he said. Last fall's blackouts, coupled with the Kincaid fire, intensified the friction between PG&E and the state officials. PG&E Chief Executive Bill Johnson, citing the growing wildfire risk from climate change, said it might take a decade to harden the electric grid to the point that blackouts aren't needed. Newsom raged at the utility in response and began raising the possibility of a government takeover. He continues to complicate PG&E's effort to pull out of bankruptcy. The company has cut deals to pay $25 billion in damages from the 2017-2018 wildfires, but still hasn't secured the state's approval for its reorganization plan. Newsom has been demanding significant changes in the utility's leadership and finances. Police identify suspect in 24-year-old South Sacramento homicide cold case. The Sacramento Police Department identified a suspect Friday in a South Sacramento homicide cold case that's more than 20 years old. Irvin Parnell, who's 58, was already in custody at the Sacramento County Jail, and he was accused of bludgeoning a woman to death in 1996. In a news release, the Sacramento Police Department said the killing took place at a hotel on Massey Court just before midnight on October 10, 1996. Linda Marie Garcia, 33, was found dead in her room, suffering from cranial blunt force trauma wounds. The Sacramento Bee reported at the time that Garcia had previously lived in Auburn. She was found by a cleaning woman at the Gold Rush Inn at 18 Massey Court, which is now an America's Best Value Inn. Police said the case went cold, but new information surfaced that allowed detectives to link Parnell to the homicide. Sergeant Brian Kinney said in a prepared statement, "While we cannot replace the loss that Linda Garcia's family has felt for almost 24 years, we hope that an arrest in this case can finally bring them some closure." Sacramento Police Department spokesman Carl Chan couldn't say what exactly led officers to suspect Parnell, as the investigation is still ongoing, but he said DNA evidence was not a factor. It's just good old-fashioned police work, Chan said. Police are asking anyone with information regarding the cold case to call 916-264-5471. PG&E urges customers to prepare for strong winds, but is not planning a power shutoff. Pacific Gas and Electric Company officials on Friday urged customers to prepare for strong winds expected on Sunday into Monday throughout much of northern and central California, but they are not calling for a power shutoff. PG&E said electric and vegetation crews will be on alert and in position to respond should any power outages occur, according to the news release from the utility company. Officials said in the release that they would not be calling for a public safety power shutoff as fuel and soil moisture values remain high due to winter season precipitation. The National Weather Service issued a wind advisory that will remain in effect from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday from the northern Sacramento Valley to northern San Joaquin Valley. That advisory includes the Sacramento area north to Redding and Chico and south to Stockton and Modesto. Forecasters predicted northerly and easterly winds sustained of 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts from 30 to 45 miles per hour in the valley and gusts of 30 to 60 miles per hour in the foothills and mountain regions, according to the Weather Service. Even stronger winds could be expected in the higher elevations. The strongest winds are expected Sunday afternoon into Sunday night, and the winds will begin to weaken into Monday morning. A storm system will move into the region Saturday night through Sunday, and the main impact will be gusty winds. The Weather Service warned residents that, with predominantly dry weather and gusty winds, small fires will be easier to start. Caution should be taken if burning outdoors. Gusty winds could blow around unsecured objects and bring down tree limbs. There could be a few power outages, according to the Weather Service. Driving conditions could be difficult for small and high-profile vehicles. Of note, for more safety information, visit pge.com/beprepared. Store clerk attacked by thieves, dragged by getaway car, says Placer County deputies. Placer County Sheriff's detectives are looking for 3 suspects involved in a violent attack on a Forest Hill store employee who was trying to stop them from stealing alcohol. The incident occurred about 6:30 p.m. Monday when a male and female walked into Wharton's Market along Forest Hill Road. A store security camera captured the theft as the male suspect tucked 2 bottles of alcohol under the back of his hooded sweatshirt. Meanwhile, the female followed him out of the store. Sheriff's officials posted the video on Facebook and Twitter Thursday afternoon, but they removed the footage soon after. Detectives had received new information and were worried releasing the video might harm the investigation, said the Placer County Sheriff's Office. The video was taken down because the female appeared to be a minor. The male in the video appeared to have curly brown hair and was wearing black pants and white sneakers. The female with dark hair was wearing a black long-sleeve shirt and black pants. The store employee chased the male, according to sheriff's officials. Another security camera captured the chase through the store's parking lot to a car across the street. A third suspect had been waiting in the driver's seat of that car. Sheriff's officials said all 3 suspects attacked the store employee, punching and kicking him in the head. The suspects then jumped in the getaway car before the store employee reached through the open driver's side window and got the driver in a headlock. The getaway car began to pull away at about 35 miles per hour as the store employee was still hanging on to the driver, according to the sheriff's officials. The store employee yelled at the driver to slow down, which he did. The store employee then let go of the driver's head. Paramedics who were in the store parking lot helped the injured store employee, who suffered minor injuries, according to sheriff's officials. Detectives were asking for help in identifying the 3 suspects. Sheriff's officials described the getaway driver as an albino male with blonde hair and a buzz cut. The getaway car appeared to be a white or silver 4-door sedan. Officials asked anyone with information about the suspects to call the Placer County Sheriff's Office Investigations Division at 530-889-7830. Confidential tips can also be submitted by calling Placer County Crime Stoppers at 800-923-8191, or you can always visit tips.placercrimestoppers.com. Sacramento PD. Parole agent sees two fighting downtown, then one stabs the other. A parole agent spotted two people fighting Friday morning near the Harvest House Union Gospel Mission in downtown Sacramento before one of them pulled out a knife and stabbed the other. The stabbing occurred shortly after 9 a.m. near North B and Ahern Streets, about a block south of Lowe's and Fish's, in a River District area frequented by homeless people. It was unclear whether either of the people involved in the stabbing were homeless. Few details were released Friday afternoon. One of the people fighting stabbed the other, said Officer Carl Chan, a Sacramento Police Department spokesman. The person stabbed was taken to a hospital and is expected to recover. He didn't have any information about the person's gender or age. The person suspected of committing the stabbing was detained at the scene and was expected to be arrested. Chan said information about the suspect, including the criminal charges, will be released after that person has been booked at the Sacramento County Jail. 19-year-old man dies in Davis shooting, believed to be accidental, police say. A 19-year-old man died Thursday after a shooting in Davis. Police responded to the call at 3:34 p.m., according to Deputy Chief Paul Doroshoff of the Davis Police Department. At an apartment complex in the 2500 block of East 8th Street, officers found a 19-year-old man suffering from a single gunshot wound. The man was taken into UC Davis Medical Center in Sacramento, where he later died of his injuries. At some point during the investigation, it was alleged that the shooting was accidental. The officer said, officers have identified the person who is suspected of firing the weapon, and that person is being cooperative with the investigation, Doroshoff added. He also said no one is in custody, and police are conducting a full investigation to determine what the cause of the shooting was. Fair Oaks woman, 89, killed in Highway 50 crash near Pollock Pines. An 89-year-old woman from Fair Oaks was killed Thursday in a traffic collision on Highway 50 near Pollock Pines. In a news release, the Placerville Area California Highway Patrol said Jean Mack suffered fatal injuries after crashing into another car while rounding a curve on a highway. Mack had been driving a 2014 Ford Escape westbound on the highway just west of Fresh Pond around 6:20 p.m. at the speed of 65 miles per hour, according to CHP. At the same time, a 2013 Toyota Sienna driven by Silun Shi of Riverbank was approaching in the eastbound lanes. Max Ford drifted into oncoming traffic at a slight curve in the highway, crashing into Shi's Toyota head-on. Shi, along with the passenger, Zhumen Yang, both suffered major injuries. Mack was transported to Marshall Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. CHP is investigating the cause of the crash. AirPod-wearing robbery suspect hops Walgreens counter, demands Oxy at Auburn store. Placer County Sheriff's officials are seeking a suspect who robbed a Walgreens pharmacy in Auburn last week, jumping over the counter and stealing thousands of narcotics pills. Video surveillance shows a male suspect in a dark-colored hoodie, sweatpants, and white latex gloves instructing pharmacy officials to lead him to a safe, according to a Facebook post Friday by the Placer County Sheriff's Office. The robbery happened at the Walgreens on New Airport Road in Auburn, according to the social media post. The sheriff's post said the pharmacists were preparing to close the pharmacy when the suspect jumped over the counter. He threatened the employees and made reference to having a gun. The suspect then grabbed one of the pharmacist's arms and told her to take him to the safe that had the Oxycontin in it. The employees did so, and the suspect made off with several bottles of prescription narcotics, each containing 500 pills. He hopped back over the counter and fled, authorities say. The at-large suspect is described as a skinny African-American male in his late teens to early 20s, who was seen wearing a green puffy jacket, black hooded sweatshirt, sweatpants, latex gloves, and wore white Apple AirPods in his ears during the robbery, according to the sheriff's office. Placer County authorities noted in the Facebook post that Northern and Central California have seen upticks in pharmacy robberies at popular drugstore chains, including Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Raley's over the last 2 years or so. The sheriff's office asked anyone with information on the recent Walgreens robbery or any other pharmacy robbery in the area to contact its investigations division at 530-889-7830, or the Placer County Crime Stoppers number is 800-923-8191. The latter number accepts anonymous tips. Area pharmacy robberies piling up. Law enforcement seeks answers to multitude of drugstore break-ins. As the nation's opioid epidemic continues and regulations tighten on prescribing painkillers, pharmacies become potential targets for theft and robberies. 3 Yuba City pharmacies were robbed in the past month, with losses totaling approximately $48,000. During a 10-day span in January, the Walgreens pharmacy along Highway 20 was robbed of $28,791. Walgreens on Lincoln Road was robbed of $19,000, and Franklin Pharmacy along Franklin Road was robbed of $500 worth of stolen pharmaceuticals. Sutter County Sheriff's Detective Raj Gill said he thinks the local robberies might have been committed by drug dealers who have timed the robberies exactly right to take as much as they can. Gill said instead of selling meth, it's in the form of a pill. Instead of stealing from somebody 40 pills at a time, now you're looking at thousands and thousands of pills in minutes. On January 15th, 2 men took pain medications and some ADHD medications from the safe at the Walgreens pharmacy along Highway 20. Pharmacy officials said the robbers took almost half the pharmacy's supply of controlled substances that were in the safe. 3 days after that robbery, the Walgreens on Lincoln Road was robbed. According to previous Appeal Democrat reports, the suspects of the Lincoln Road robbery are described as 2 African-American males between the ages of 16 and 25, standing between 5 feet tall and 5'6", and approximately 140 to 150 pounds. The Sutter County Sheriff's Office said the suspects remain at large. The Franklin Pharmacy was robbed on January 25th when 5 men entered the store, jumped over the counter, went to the narcotics cabinet, and ordered employees on the ground. The suspects fled in a silver 4-door sedan. Gill said the department is investigating whether the pharmacy robberies are related but can't confirm whether the incidents are linked. He said they are collaborating with other law enforcement agencies to investigate the robberies. Gill said, "We're working with the Yuba County Police and also with Sacramento. The one on Lincoln Road is our jurisdiction, and the following week the Yuba City Police Department, had one on Franklin and Walton, but so far we haven't come up with anything." Yuba City Police Department Lieutenant James Runyon said the department is investigating the incidents and advised that customers should report suspicious activity to the police. Runyon says in an email, the robberies have similarities, but whether they are connected is still under investigation. If you see something suspicious, notify law enforcement immediately and do not try to intervene. The Sacramento branch of the Federal Bureau of Investigations could not comment on the status of any investigation regarding pharmacy robberies in the area. Regarding safety, law enforcement and pharmacy managers agree that safety is a concern during robberies. Rajesh Wadava, pharmacist manager at the Walgreens along Highway 20, said the safety of staff and customers is always important. He said, "We usually are obligated to listen to the commands and do as they say. We always presume that they are armed." Gill said there were no known weapons present in the Lincoln Road robbery, but said the robbers grabbed the pharmacist by the neck and forced her to the safe where certain controlled substances are kept. Gill said one of the biggest hurdles with pharmacy security is the Walgreens surveillance system. Gill said it was just very poor quality. I mean, even if the person was looking at the camera, you wouldn't be able to recognize them. Walgreens spokesperson Phil Caruso said he couldn't comment on specific safety procedures for Walgreens pharmacies, but said the organization frequently evaluates security for the safety of customers and staff. Caruso said, "We do have numerous security procedures and policies in place, and we're constantly evaluating them." The goal of pharmacy robbers is to be in and out of a store as quickly as possible and with as many pharmaceuticals as possible. In an effort to delay robberies, allowing more time for law enforcement to arrive, Caruso said all California Walgreens pharmacies have been outfitted with high-security time delay safes, which are designated to prevent the immediate availability of locked pharmaceuticals. Caruso said, once activated by a pharmacist, the safe is designed to remain locked for several minutes, and that removes the immediate availability of these items that are frequently targeted during robberies. Gill suggested that pharmacies could install a security gate to prevent thieves from jumping behind the counter, as they did in all 3 recent robberies. Caruso says, "This, regarding robberies, is something the entire pharmacy industry continues to face." Gill encouraged anyone with information that could help identify the suspects to contact the sheriff's office at 530-822-7313. Improving the airports. Yuba County undergoing $1.8 million taxiway project. Sutter County completed $200,000 worth of upgrades. Significant improvements have been made over the past few years to the Yuba-Sutter area's two airports, which provide important services to local businesses and flyers who frequent the facilities and add to the local economy. The Yuba County Airport is currently undergoing a facelift with a $1.8 million taxiway project, which will connect commercial, industrial, and aviation services business on the west side of the airport to the facility's runway. Yuba County Airport Manager Jason Copping said the airport is vital to the local economy. He said the industry and commerce that surround an airport are building blocks for success in the region. And Copping took over the position earlier this month and said, as an aside, let's ponder the recent growth in the sports entertainment district in Yuba County, amphitheater and casino. Isn't it an incredible feature of our county to have an airport that can accommodate commuter and corporate aircraft that bring visitors to our community? The airport is located on more than 1,000 acres of county-owned land. The facility houses several businesses, including Honeycutt Aviation, A&P Helicopters, Kruger Aviation, Yuba-Sutter Aviation, Reach Air Medical Services, and the Beale Aero Club, with other private businesses. Just last year, a $4.5 million apron project was completed that replaced 26,000 plus square yards of concrete. An airport apron, also known as the tarmac, is the area of an airport where aircraft are parked, unloaded, loaded, refueled, or boarded. The local airports are funded through revenues generated from operations at the facilities. For the apron project, grants from the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, and the Yuba Water Agency helped with construction costs. Copping said his goal for the airport is to help identify new revenue streams to maintain self-sufficiency. Other areas of focus over the last 12 months have been on maintenance and compliance. Copping said many regulatory needs for signage, tree, and vegetation management, as well as building and structural improvements, have been carried out. He said at this time there are no commercially available flight/services offered at the Yuba County Airport. With just a little over 6,000 feet of runway, the airport is capable of receiving aircraft that are larger than what is often seen at municipal airports. Sutter County's runway is about half that, at 3,040 feet in length and 75 feet wide. A major portion of the airport operations are for agricultural aircraft involved in crop dusting activities. We are a farming community, and that agricultural foundation is very prevalent, said Darrell Dunn, operations manager for the Sutter Buttes Regional Aviation Association, which oversees operations at the airport. He said they have to spray their fields, so this facility gives them a place to operate out of. So we support the farming industry, but we also frequently see law attorneys from the Bay Area or down south, property owners flying in, and the sheriff's Aero Squadron. Dunn said the airport, which is funded by the tenants that operate at the facility, has made roughly $200,000 worth of improvements over the past few years. The airport lighting fixtures have all been replaced, which cut electricity usage in half. The facility's tarmac was resurfaced. Fencing has been put up around the facility, as well as new security cameras. The pilot lounge was upgraded, and new sidewalks were installed in front of the building. The hangar doors were upgraded, and a new flagpole that was donated by nonprofit service organizations was also installed. Dunn said probably one of the biggest recent projects was the opening of the school on site. The Aero STEM Academy Charter School opened up last week, and that's a fully accredited charter academy. The Sutter County Airport, first established in 1947, is located on approximately 170 acres of county-owned land just east of Garden Highway in Yuba City. Convicted Corning attorney disbarred. Defense attorney Roland Lawrence Bennett of Corning has been disbarred from the practice of law for, quote, felony convictions involving moral turpitude, according to the State Bar of California. Bennett was sentenced a year ago to serve 3 years and 8 months in jail for allegedly bribing and dissuading a witness from testifying. However, the judge suspended the prison sentence pending Bennett's completion of 5 years of formal probation, 300 days in the county jail, and that he submit to random drug testing, complete a drug and alcohol evaluation, and other standard terms. On July 15th, the state bar placed Bennett on interim suspension due to his being convicted on the charges filed against him by the Tehama County District Attorney's Office and Tehama County Superior Court. The bar states it then established that Bennett's violation meets the criteria for summary disbarment. First, Bennett pled guilty to and was convicted of the felony of knowingly and maliciously dissuading a witness from attending or giving testimony at a trial, a crime punishable by imprisonment in state prison or imprisonment in county jail. And second, Bennett's felony conviction involves moral turpitude per se. Bennett, who's 51, was arrested by the Tehama County District Attorney's Office on November 18th of 2017 on Marguerite Avenue in Corning and booked into the Tehama County Jail on suspicion of bribing a witness. During a phone interview with Bennett not long after his arrest, he told the Corning Observer he didn't believe the case would even make it to court as the district attorney's office was, quote, exaggerating things. Bennett said at that time, "The case in question is a criminal case I was handling for a client. As is procedure, I did interview the alleged victim in this case, but there was no bribery." However, in the end, Bennett pleaded guilty to the charges. According to the district attorney's office, Bennett was representing a client facing several felony charges, including assault causing great bodily injury. Over a period of about 14 months from September of 2016 to November 18th, 2017, Bennett made several contacts with the victim in the case, during which he negotiated an agreement that his client pay the victim a specified amount of money in exchange for the victim not cooperating with the district attorney's office and refusing to testify in response to a lawfully served criminal subpoena. Bennett was allegedly on probation with Butte County at that time for driving under the influence of alcohol and/or drugs. The name of the person Bennett was representing in the case and the amount of money allegedly offered to the victim has not been disclosed by Bennett or the DA's office. Bennett has served his 300 days in jail and is now on probation. A Corning High School graduate, Benning started his law practice in January of 2003, having attended Cal State University Chico and St. Thomas University of Law in Miami, Florida. Local service clubs guiding today's youth through life. While service clubs in the Yuba-Sutter-Colusa area have all had their own unique events and outreach efforts, they all strive to better the community by focusing on the children. Mary Langsdorf, president-elect for the Marysville Rotary Club, said her mission in life is to help give children the tools to succeed and that being a member of the Rotary Club has been a great way to do so. She said, "We know that if we start giving our time and money to the children of our community, they will be the ones to pay it forward. We hope to make an impact, small or large, so that they will eventually do the same as they get older." According to Langsdorf, members of the Marysville Rotary Club go to Covalad Elementary School once a month to read to the second graders. She said reading includes gifting a book to each child celebrating a birthday that month. The organization also donates new dictionaries to the third grade class at Covalad Elementary every year, in addition to funding several upgrades to the school. Langsdorf said the organization has also purchased a washer and dryer for the school so children without access to facilities can regularly wash their clothes, and constructed a concrete pad surrounded by benches and trees that can be used as an outdoor classroom. They have also installed a flagpole at the Kynoch Elementary School Walk of Fame and donated a new van to Marysville High School's agricultural department. Says Langsdorf, the van allows many students the opportunity for off-site education and experiences they would not otherwise be able to attend due to costs. The van is used to transport kids to various competitions and conventions up and down the state as far away as Cal Poly, she said. Prior to the donation of this van, the district did not have transportation options that allowed such travel. Langsdorf said, "All the children in our area deserve a little extra, and I feel Marysville Rotary has assisted with that." Marysville Rotary is all about service above self, and although it takes our time and effort, we hope our service makes this community a better place for everyone. Across the bridge, the Early Risers Kiwanis Club of Yuba City applied the organization's mission of serving the children of the world throughout all of their outreach efforts. Annette Giese, Early Risers of Yuba City member, said among many things that they do each year, the club has been facilitating pizza party lunches for classes at Bridge Street Elementary School that have maintained their collective attendance for 20, 40, and sometimes even 60 consecutive days. Giese said the purpose is to keep them in school. It's a simple thing that we can do, that the kids like, and it works. Giese, who is the chair of the pizza party program, said the Kiwanis Club funded 26 pizza parties during the 2018-2019 school year and served 569 meals. Giese said each party includes pizza prepared by the kitchen staff at Yuba City Unified School District, fruits and vegetables, ice cream, drinks, and prizes such as pencils and special erasers. Any food that is not eaten during the party is donated to local organizations like Hands of Hope or the Salvation Army. Jim Pingree, president of the Colusa Lions Club, said the organization started this school year with a $750 contribution to the AP English class at Colusa High School for their trip to Medford, Oregon for the Shakespeare Festival. Each year, the Lions Club also co-hosts the Super 7 Dinner to recognize the top 7 scholars from the junior and senior classes at the high school and even offer scholarships to local graduating seniors. Pingree said the club will help fund projects by local students that are service-oriented upon request. During the summer, the Lions Club also hosts their annual rubber ducky races on 4th of July, and all the proceeds earned are donated to the 6th grade class at Eggling Middle School for their trip to Shady Creek. Wind gusts reportedly hit 209 miles per hour in California. Is the speed a record or an error? Wind gusts reportedly surpassed 200 miles per hour on a particularly windy Sunday morning near Kirkwood, according to the National Weather Service, possibly setting a new record for California amid doubts of the report's veracity. Sacramento area NWS forecaster Carlisa Rogacheski confirmed that an observation site in the Sierra Nevada recorded a gust of 209 miles per hour at 7:45 a.m. Sunday amid widespread windy conditions in the region. The last major wind speed record in the state was set in February 2017 when winds reached 199 miles per hour at the Alpine Meadows Ski Resort. Rogacheski said the 2017 record was the last recorded in NWS archives. The Sacramento NWS office said on Twitter that it would be double-checking the report for any possible calibration errors, and by Sunday afternoon the weather agency was hedging its bets, saying that the report was probably erroneous. Says NWS forecaster Craig Shoemaker, no doubt they had strong winds at that site. It may actually take days to get absolute certainty. The observation site had previously been reporting speeds greater than 150 miles per hour for several hours, which is an unlikely occurrence, Shoemaker said, and it had also been reporting 92% humidity during the windstorm, another indication that malfunctions were possible. The site is located at the Kirkwood Ski Resort and is not maintained by the NWS, Shoemaker said. Northern California was experiencing fast-moving winds Sunday, with Sacramento reaching 45 miles per hour, according to the NWS. In the mountains, gusts were expected to reach 60 miles per hour. PG&E said Friday it would be monitoring wind conditions over the weekend. High winds shatter skyscraper window in San Francisco and knock out power, officials say. A 41st-story window in San Francisco's famously leaning Millennium Tower shattered Sunday, sending broken glass falling to the street below as high winds buffeted the city. Shards of fallen glass prompted street closures around Mission and Fremont streets, according to the San Francisco Chronicle. No injuries reported in the incident. Wind gusts of up to 50 miles per hour have been forecast for the Bay Area this weekend, according to the Mercury News. The high winds forced the closure of the Oakland Zoo and Muir Woods National Monument, according to the publication. Transit ferries on San Francisco Bay suspended operations, as did ferries conveying tourists to Alcatraz Island, which also shut down. Fallen power lines snarled traffic and caused power outages throughout the Bay Area. The winds are expected to die down Sunday evening. Nearby workers noticed the broken Millennium Tower window at about 11:30 a.m. Sunday. The tower has sunk and tilted about 18 inches to the northwest since opening in 2009. In the Sierra Nevada, wind gusts up to 209 miles per hour were reported at Kirkwood, potentially setting a record. Multiple suspects sought after 25 cars broken into in Rocklin Saturday. Rocklin police are looking for several suspects after a string of car burglaries Saturday morning, according to a news release. A dark-colored 2000 Ford Explorer was seen dropping off several people in Rocklin early Saturday morning. Windows were broken and property was stolen from around 25 cars. The suspects were seen on the surveillance video peering into cars. Anyone with information should contact the Rocklin Police Department non-emergency line at 916-625-5400. Oakridge Shopping Center buys property at South San Jose Mall site amid upgrades. Property was purchased at Oakridge Mall could bolster wide-ranging improvements at retail center. The principal owner of Westfield Oakridge Shopping Center has bought a site next to the South San Jose Mall in a deal that could bolster a wide-ranging and dramatic revival and upgrade of the big retail hub. Oakridge Mall has bought a property on a site that's adjacent to the San Jose Shopping Center. Oakridge Mall states in a email sent to the Mercury News, as part of the center's continuing evolution, Unibail Rodamco Westfield, Oakridge's owner and operator, has also acquired the adjacent 2,500 square foot parcel located on Blossom Hill Road and is determining future plans for it. The transaction represents a swift profit for local developer Dom and Wally, who had bought the site just last August through an affiliate. In August, the Wally affiliate paid $3 million for the property, according to Santa Clara County public documents. Oakridge Mall paid Wally $3.34 million for the parcel. Property records filed on January 22nd show the deal was all cash. Wally said, "We did sell it for more. We made a little bit of money on it." It turns out the property was quite popular when it was put up for sale last summer. There were 16 bidders on the property, and Wally said, "We were the most aggressive on the terms and offered a higher price." We found out afterward that Oakridge was one of the bidders. Before long, it made sense to Wally that the ultimate best move would be to sell the property to the mall owners, according to Wally. He said Oakridge has visions for the property. We didn't want to get in their way. Once we found out Oakridge was one of the bidders that wanted the property, they were willing to come in and cover all of our transactional costs. We made a little money on the way out. The deal represented an 11% jump in the property's value in about 5 months. The property purchased arrived amid a major improvement effort at Westfield Oakridge. The upgrade will add several new merchants, including a mattress retailer and a game and entertainment site. The revival replaces a former Sears department store and a shuttered Sears automotive repair outlet, and is a fresh example of how shopping centers can combat the challenges posed by the forbidding retail apocalypse going on in the United States. Sleep Number, GameWorks, Wheelworks, and Meat Fresh are opening during 2020, according to the Westfield Oakridge Group, one of the Bay Area's major retail shopping centers. Last November, Living Spaces opened a 100,000 square foot plus store at the site of the old Sears outlet. Wally said, "You often hear about the demise of retail, but many of the large malls in the Bay Area seem to be doing very well, as evidenced by all the investment in them. Santana Row, Valley Fair, Oakridge, and Stanford are all examples of that." Oakland mayor vows to house twice as many homeless residents this year. Mayor says Oakland housed 880 people last year. Reporting on the state of the city in the midst of Oakland's unprecedented homelessness crisis, Mayor Libby Schaff on Friday said the city helped move 880 homeless residents into housing last year, and she pledged to double that number in 2020. Speaking at the Oakland Museum of California, Schaff used the annual speech to highlight the strides her administration has taken to address the city's number one problem, its surging population of unhoused residents. She ticked off the city's addition of extra shelter beds, an uptick in the construction of affordable housing, hundreds of people housed, and thousands more kept off the streets altogether. Schaff said, "The state of our city is one of intense change and possibility. Now our vision remains a vibrant and equitable city where everyone thrives and where everyone feels a deep sense of belonging in Oakland, and to one another." As she spoke, a handful of protesters, unimpressed with her response to the crisis, gathered outside the museum chanting, "Housing is a human right," and holding a banner that reads, "Mayor, why? Take our RVs. Why? Take our hope." Schaff on Friday announced that Oakland's various programs, including its innovative cabin communities model, have helped 880 homeless residents move from the streets into permanent housing. She said, "Our number one goal for next year is to double that number." Oakland also doubled its shelter capacity to more than 1,700 beds over the past 28 months, and Schaff's Keep Oakland Housed initiative, which offers financial assistance and legal aid to renters at risk of losing their homes, kept 2,100 households off the streets in its first year and a half. One of Keep Oakland Housed success stories was there Friday. Deborah Ross, who decorates and sells hats adorned with feathers, rhinestones, and other ornaments, she fell behind on her rent in 2018 and was able to keep her East Oakland apartment thanks to an $800 grant from the program. "I'm so thankful for Keep Oakland Housed," Ross said from behind the table where she was selling hats to the State of the City attendees. Schaff also reported progress on her 2016 promise to get 17,000 new housing units built by 2024. The city already exceeded that goal, she said, permitting 22,000 units in 4 years. That includes nearly 2,000 new affordable units, placing Oakland back on track to reach its goal of 4,760 units by 2024. That's an improvement from the city's last update. In March, city officials reported permitting just 751 affordable units since 2016. Of those, 638 were under construction at the time. Furthermore, Schaff said evictions in Oakland are down by 36% over the past 5 years as rent prices are stabilizing. She said this production is absolutely helping. But not everyone was convinced by the rosy picture that Schaff painted. Says 29-year-old Cole McLean of the United Front Against Displacement, who's an activist group that has been advocating for the rights of homeless residents camping along Wood Street in West Oakland. "I think the state of the city is horrendous." The solutions that the city has offered, including converting sheds into cabin communities to be used as temporary housing and erecting safe parking sites for RVs, are subpar, says McLean, who showed up at the museum to protest Schaff. "Those programs don't have enough space for everyone in need," he said, "and don't treat the residents they do serve with dignity." Dale Smith agreed, calling Oakland's effort to tackle the homelessness crisis a complete and utter failure. "At the end of the day, people aren't getting housed," said Smith. As of the city's last point-in-time count, conducted in January of 2019, 4,071 Oaklanders were sleeping on the street, sleeping in vehicles, in shelters, or in other makeshift dwellings, up 47% from 2,761 people in 2017. Despite Schaff's creative attempts to house people, tent encampments continue to sprawl over city sidewalks and in vacant lots, and RVs line the streets. But 66-year-old Nino Parker, a homeless Oakland resident and activist, left the speech feeling hopeful. He said, "It sounds to me like they're trying to look at some of the poor people, trying to keep them housed and keep them in Oakland." "Well, that sounds good," he said. "Residents will have to wait and see how Schaff implements her promises." Parker said, "I say, give it a chance."